Hello and welcome, everyone. We are just getting settled. Welcome, welcome. My name is Nick. I'll be your MC for this afternoon. We are just getting settled in. We got a couple minutes before we're officially kicking off. So feel free to finish off those emails, close out those windows, get ready for a live interactive webinar here. We appreciate all of you coming. It's going to be a good time. We are just getting some final systems checks and things getting fired up for you. And actually, let's go back to here. Okay. There we go.
Now we're live.
Now we're live, right, Drew?
For a Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Yes. You need a little bit of a pick-me-up on hump day in the afternoon. And this should be power-packed. We're going to make you folks think, give you some inspiration, give you some opportunities, some angles here. So if you'd like to, just go ahead and let us know in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. What's your name? Where are you joining us from? And what company are you with? What are you excited about? We got my here with SearchTides partnerships. I'm joined by SearchTides CEO Drew Schweppe here on the line. We both got the blue blazer memo here for today.
We have a uniform.
Well done, Drew. Good to see you again.
And you.
Been working hard on this program, on this content for you folks for many, many weeks. We're also psyched to hear from Max Traylor in just a little bit. You can go ahead and let us know in chat so we can be sure that the audio is coming through to you, everything else is working. What's your name? Where are you calling in from in the world today? What organization are you with? And give that a shout out. And what are you excited about, either for this upcoming webinar, for the day ahead, for the balance of the month of May? We're halfway through May at the time of this recording. Bob's looking forward to hearing more about how we might be able to help out with LLMs and AI search visibility. That's a specialty that a lot of people have been talking about, especially that we've been pioneering.
Nick, what are you most excited about right now?
Yeah, I'm excited to have this webinar program roll out well, Drew, and to inspire some agencies here to level up like we have, to join us in the journey. We're just a couple steps down the road. So I'm excited just to talk about some of the things we've been working on, a couple of the great thought leaders we've met along the way, like Max Traylor here, as well as Andrew Percy, one of the agencies that was one of our founding referral partners in this program we're going to talk about. So I'm just excited to share our work a little bit here, Drew. Welcome to Jay, who's joined us. And Jay says here that a prospect just told him that they found him through a recommendation chatting with ChatGPT. How can I engineer that to happen more? Can you give us a little glimpse, Drew, as to what we're seeing and what SearchTides has been helping some of the companies that we consult to on that?
Totally. Sounds like you're doing the right things, Jay. And on the most basic level, keep doing what you're doing. And then we can chat in depth of how to do it, at scale so that keeps happening. But like anything in the world right now, it is all about what your competition is doing. So if you're already being found in the same spot, keep doing it so that your competition has to fight you for that spot. So be consistent, be everywhere that your customers are, make sure your brand is spoken about in a proper way for Nick, which is, my Boston accent. And yeah, we'll chat more about it for sure.
We're hearing from a very fired up Drew Schweppe, CEO of SearchTides, and sort of the main supporter of this program here, helped us bring it to life. So thanks, Drew. And with that, we thought it'd be good, since some folks here have just heard about us, you've just heard about this program in the last few days, we've been promoting it widely through our network. If you could just let everybody on the line know, and for those who will watch this on demand afterwards, who is SearchTides? The company has evolved themselves under your leadership in the last couple of the last few years, of course. So tell us about SearchTides in sort of an elevator pitch format so we can have that in context as we roll out our program here, if you would.
Absolutely. I guess the question is, how many floors do I have? But I'll keep it to just a few floors. First, on behalf of everyone at SearchTides, our clients, our partners, everyone in our ecosystem, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And I'm really excited for this program that Nick has been spearheading and to celebrate some of our early wins and continued success here. So we'll talk more about SearchTides later on in the webinar, but in short, I only have a few floors left. SearchTides, we've been an agency since 2013. We've gone from a full service agency to a specialized SEO agency to now we are offering 4 services because of things thanks to the project that we're working on right now. We are able to have long-lasting relationships with some of the best in the world when it comes to things like CRO for paid social, for social search, now for PPC and things like that. So I'm proud of a lot of things that we're doing at SearchTides. I've been here for going on 6-7 years now. And what I would say one of my favorite things to talk about is the people that I get to meet, the partners that I get to make, and Nick's going to jump into, the details of why we are here. But before he does, I think we can all relate that the reason we're here is because we agree that we care about our clients. And sometimes we're the best person for that job. Sometimes we know the best person for that job. And it's been really fulfilling to work with lots of great agencies and other marketers over the last half decade plus. And we're going to chat more about how we're going to help our clients in this revenue focused world. Nick, back to you.
Awesome, Drew. We're going to hear a bit more from Drew in a bit more detail, the specifics as to how SearchTides does what we do, and then how we can work you into our referral network as much as we would like to encourage you and challenge you to set up your own and have us be a part of that. So as Drew said, without further ado, these are 3 things of why I personally am here and why I want to make sure this program accomplishes for you. And if you take nothing else away, these are 3 key takeaways and a little bit of a preview of the rest of our agenda. One is we want you to be awake to the fact that there is a new opportunity in search. Let's all be honest. Search today doesn't just mean Google anymore. Your clients' prospects are discovering brands on TikTok, LinkedIn, ChatGPT, even Reddit. So we call it the search anywhere paradigm, and that's why the team here at SearchTides is focused on omnipresent visibility. And we had Jay here talk about the fact that clients are finding him, this is somebody here on the line, through ChatGPT now. How is that working? How can we work that both as agencies and harness that paradigm, that shift for our clients? Because it's no longer about chasing clicks like the old days. It's about meeting potential buyers at their moment of intent, at their moment of inquiry. And if we are not there, our competitors can be there. So it's a very important paradigm for us to all thrive as agencies and consultants and providers. The second thing I want you to take away and think about is make a business case, and we're going to try to help you make that case for specialization. You just heard Drew talk about that a moment ago. As agencies, we all have known the temptation to say yes to a client's needs. I've worked with agencies in and out of many different agencies for many years. And even when it's outside your core, there's that desire I want to stay relevant. I want to keep this business. So we're going to have to just fake it till we make it and see if we can pull that off, and creates pain for everybody. So let's flip the script actually and say that specialization actually can be our superpower. So when you bring in partners like us, and when we bring in partners like you, we can be stronger and better and more comprehensive. You bring someone like us in, you've got someone on your side to handle any SEO, CRO, paid or organic social inquiry through our capabilities. And you folks get to focus on what you do best, and your clients still get those expert results. And that's what I call a win-win-win. It's for you, for the client, and for the partnership, this growing referral network that we're building, and we want you to build with us as a result. That's a triple win, baby. All right. And then the third thing I want you to be thinking about is how you can grow with referrals. And you grow with referrals by earning the referrals and earning the trust through each and every one and treating them like gold. So we built this informal partner program that we're kind of launching and going public here with you all around 3 truths. One is that agencies need trust, transparency, and someone who's got their back and gives a damn about the client and their results. And our engagements will start with in-depth discovery, with a initial build out program so everyone can see a completely custom approach to any client that we work with, and we'll talk more about that. But if you intro us to the right client, we'll treat them like gold. We expect our referral partners to do the same and keep each other in the loop every step of the way. So we want to talk a bit more about examples of that in action. You're going to hear from Andrew Percy, one of the agencies here on the line, who's we've had quite a bunch of bidirectional success referring back and forth with us here. All right, so I'd like to ask you all, if you would, to share your strengths. What's one service your company is best in class at? And or what is your specialty, if you can think of that? We want to learn and know that. Can you articulate that? Do you already have something like that in mind? Because I think we'll find that obviously all of us are not all marketing to everyone. So let us know in chat what your specialty is. We see Andrew here with PPC. Jay here saying turning complicated services into offers that sell. I love that, Jay. Absolutely. And if a lot of that is around positioning, messaging, that is a piece that we see our clients struggle with all the time. And we are not specialized in content creation and messaging. We're specialized in the strategy to work various systems to get found, but we need our clients to be empowered to have the right guidance and support to produce the content that we need. So he says, cool, refer them over. Yes, that's what we're talking about, Jay. Yes, exactly. We want to keep in touch with you and talk about that. So anybody else wants to chime in? I know Bob over here on the line specializes in webinars as a lead gen engine as well. We just heard Drew, our own CEO, talk about SEO being our core, and that we've gone out and partnered with the best in the business to increase our offerings through that network. So think about that more, even if it's rhetorical to yourself. What is one service you're best in class at? What is your specialty? And if you're not able to articulate that, let today be the charge for you to change that, and that you come out of this saying to yourselves, we got to figure out what our specialty is so that the people like SearchTides can keep us in mind. All right. And with that said, I wanted to bring on an interview that I did with one of a longtime friend, one of the sharpest minds I have met around agency specialization. It's Max Traylor. Many of you folks know him from your network. Max and I go way back from our time over at HubSpot when I was running the partner program, the enablement training over at HubSpot Academy. Max came and spoke to many of those agencies, and he's been a consultant for many years since. So I had him do an exclusive interview with you all, which we're going to play here for you to review. And please let us know your questions as we go. Let's hear from my interview with Max Traylor. Max, thanks for joining here today to share a lot of what I've heard you talk to many agencies. I've been at agencies when you've helped coach about this, and I'm just glad to have you for a few minutes share a little microcosm of some of the thought process that you've been consulting around to different agencies, because we here at SearchTides certainly believe in this ethos, and I wanted some of the folks here on the webinar to hear this directly from you. So if you would, please take it away, and I'll chime in here because I believe in all this that you're talking about.
Yeah, I really appreciate the invite. Otherwise, I got to rely on people reading my books, and nobody reads books nowadays. So it's good to be here.
I own them. I haven't read them all cover to cover, but I own them. I flip through them. I reference them. Good charts and things.
The secret is I just repurpose a lot of the content. If anyone's writing books out there, sort of a cheat code.
The pro tips begin now, folks. Take notes.
Don't repeat that publicly. Glad we're recording.
Absolutely.
So been about 10 years of interviewing, I don't know, let's say 20 agency owners every month. Here's what's going on. Let's say in the last 2 years, and that is that marketers are being asked to do more with less. If you look at all the Gartner research, Forrester research, all the people with a lot of money that are doing research, I don't know if I actually trust it 100%, but if they're all saying the same thing, you got to give it some credibility. Marketers are being asked to do more with less. New meetings are down 30% and it's trending worse. This is the trust gap. This is like, okay, we don't have money to spend absolutely everywhere with no recourse. So new relationships are being challenged. All of us as agencies over a beer, we're going to tell each other, yeah, new meetings are down. We're scared about new business. And if you've been following, I would say maybe, I don't know, the last 2 years, there's a lot of three-letter things for it, but the near-bound movement, partnership-led growth, there's a million words for it, but the reality is that our clients only trust the people they already trust. So those referrals that have dried up for you, the the trusted partnerships, people that are complementary to what you do. Those are the most important relationships ever, because these new meetings are down 30%. Now, a relationship thing that I've talked about for the last 10 years between agencies and their clients is you need to avoid being vendorified. If you are seen as somebody that is selling services, you will not be invited to the decision maker table where they talk about big kid things like how much money should we spend, what should we spend it on, who are we going to work with. In an uncertain environment, an uncertain financial agency world, you need a seat at that table, or you will be on the receiving end of things that you don't understand. Like, we've decided to go in a different direction. Thank you for doing such great service. Thank you for hitting all of our numbers. By the way, you're fired. That's what's been happening to vendors for the last 2 years. And so we need to avoid this. And how do we avoid this? The number one way to avoid this is by saying we specialize in a certain thing. And so we can be a part of that conversation, and we're not going to suggest that you just continue to spend more money with us because we do everything for everyone. There's more trust created when you can define yourself by what you say no to or what we don't do, and your clients understand that you do one thing really well, but really your main value is to be a part of that decision maker table, to be an advisor in their decision-making process. And when you have conversations, that will materialize as the client talking a lot more about their opportunities, challenges, and initiatives. You'll start to hear more about their business, how they plan, what they're investing in. If you achieve this trusted partner status, you'll be able to provide insights, the implications to their business objectives. You'll be able to provide recommendations without ever, or on a very small, why can't I use words? Maybe you talk about what you do. Yeah. Maybe you talk about what you do because it aligns with that one thing that you are best at. But this is the makeup of a value add trusted advisor conversation. And these are the agencies that are going to survive if 2025 is anything like 23 and 24. And by the way, the maybe trustworthy research suggests that it is only trending worse. So I've been talking about it for 10 years. You have to be a specialist. And so now we get into partnerships. Now, everyone has a bad experience with partnerships. I'll tell you why, is because we want to get married day one. I'll tell you right now, I dated my wife for 8 years before we got married. We have a fantastic marriage. Follow in my footsteps, baby steps, people, one step at a time. You don't need to co-market together or co-deliver or do a business arrangement. Like, you can figure out the ins and outs of your partnership, and if it will work, if you're going to leverage a partnership with another organization, by making introductions. Like, that is the call the bluff. That is the fast forward button. You say, hey, I know somebody that does this well. I want to make an introduction, even if you can't vouch for them personally. I'm not saying this is about, putting yourself out there and vouching for somebody and getting them the deal. The meetings are down 30%. If you can be the resource where you're listening to a client, they say we have this problem, and you can be that resource to set somebody up with a meeting, you can be best friends. That's where relationships start. That's what I think today is all about. And by the way, everyone has a problem with being found. It is one of the biggest conversation pieces in any agency, regardless of your service. And so I was excited to be invited to a conversation about being found on the interwebs post GPT.
Absolutely, Max. And would you say that also having this type of network of people that you can introduce, maybe not even vouch for, you don't white label them necessarily, even though that is cool to do as well, if you can make that arrangement, wouldn't you say that makes them a bit more strategic, gets them into that table as well, if the agency can be called upon for a little bit more than just what they provide in their specialty or what they pretend to provide as a generalist?
It was a very important chapter in my first book, Agency Survival Guide. The trump card, which now has more political implications, but the trump card for being a trusted partner and not a vendor is to add vendor evaluation to your services. If you can be a trusted resource for bringing specialized relationships to your client, then how can you be a vendor when you're evaluating and recommending other vendors? And so it's an automatic elevation of your status as an advisor and a partner to your clients if you, as part of your service, as a documented part of your service, are going to bring in other specialist service providers. And I'm guessing a lot of people on this call are here because they are already of the mindset of like, I need to be able to bring in other third-party experts to build that level of credibility that I'm looking for with my client. None of you here today should be thinking about, how do I launch my 13th service to build more share of wallet with my clients? This is about building trust. This is about surviving the budget cuts that are happening and making sure that clients are investing in the things that they need most. And that requires us to get out of this mindset of we are everything to everyone, period, full stop. We need to be strategic partners. You're going to die if you don't.
I love it. Powerful stuff. Max, I know that there's some folks who would love to ask you some follow-up questions. I know you're easy to find. And you network all the time. You did a great podcast interview with SearchTides CEO Drew in the past. So, like, what's just the best way for folks to follow you, to learn a bit more about this mindset, and to ask any follow-up questions? Anywhere they should head first and foremost?
LinkedIn. I'm easy to find. I'm opinionated. Videos. I got pictures. I got books. DM me.
Well, thank you for helping to share some of your mindset here, Max. I hope the folks on the line take some inspiration from it and that it sparks some additional conversations, both with us, because we want to help build this vision with other agencies here on the line, but also with you, because I think you have a lot to offer agencies to help them come around here culturally and also with their own structure, working with clients. There you have it. The one, the only Max Traylor calls himself an agency churn physician, helping agencies pursue strategies and structures that will actually help them keep their clients, not have those clients churn out for budget reasons, for some other agency you didn't know about that wasn't part of your referral network coming in and unseating you. So that was awesome. Exclusive interview there. And we kept it on time because Max and I pre-recorded that because between Max and I, we're two of the most talkative people in B2B marketing, I think, that I've ever met. So we want to keep this thing on time and smooth for you. So Max says hello, and we appreciate you, Max, stopping by for that interview. Now it's your turn to share, folks. We just heard the case for what Max said to get much better at being part of the conversations with our clients for, hey, do you know somebody who does X, Y, Z? So let's all share here. When a client comes to you with a need that is outside your usual scope, your usual specialty of what you do, what do you usually say or do? And we've heard the range. I have practiced the range of it. Sometimes you just go, yeah, good luck with that. Maybe it doesn't even come up in your conversations because you're not viewed as somebody strategic with a network that your client can rely on outside of what they know you for. Or maybe you already have a couple of agencies or providers, partners, freelancers you keep in your network that you bring in for those types of things. But please let us know in chat. I know Bob and I have worked together on certain webinar things. When people need on-camera talent, he can look to me. I look to Bob for back-end production talent. So Bob says he often scrambles sometimes when he's looking for people who can provide SEO needs. You're about to hear from one of our own agencies that we partnered with on who they go to on some of their needs. And Jay here says, if I have a partner I trust, I intro them, but I try to stick with what I'm great at. Completely agree, Jay. And we want to make that a bit more structured. We have Andrew here saying, thankfully these days I go to my list of pre-vetted complementary agencies. That's what we want everybody to be able to say here. Hopefully our answers to the last couple questions, what do you specialize isn't everything. And what do you do when somebody comes to you with a need outside your scope, which is wing it or do nothing, right? You want to be able to have some pre-vetted partners. So with that being said, I want to share with you another interview that I did for this webinar that I'd like to share with you with one of your own, another agency owner who's out there just like you folks, runs a small but growing agency here. And I'm going to let Andrew tell a bit more of his story to you all, because this is also part of our reciprocity. As he has brought exposure to us, we want to bring exposure to him. He's really a go-to provider for what he does in our network. And hopefully you can hear his story, take some inspiration from him, and you can have him be a member of your network. Let's hear from Andrew.
My name is Andrew Percy. My agency is Prometheus PPC. I've been running it for a little bit over 12 years now. And for the last 9 or 10 years of it, we have been specializing exclusively in Google Ads campaign management, and in particular, lead generation. So there's a wide variety of services you can provide through Google Ads. We specialize in companies that need leads, qualified leads, better leads, more leads, whether it could be in the finance industry, construction, healthcare, or a variety of others. We can make it work. We are the Google Ads specialists. Yeah, one of my clients, I knew they had a gap in their service because they'd asked about it a number of times. And I didn't have a good answer for them until I started talking with SearchTides. And so what I told my client was that for about 10 years, SearchTides has been specializing in these areas that they need help with, which are SEO and conversion rate optimization for the website, as well as possibly some paid social and social search help. So I know that this client had been doing those services in-house without much expertise or experience. And I really thought doing an introduction here could show them that using SearchTides instead could get them far, far better results. Yeah, I didn't really expect a lot. I just wanted to do the introduction and hope that it was a good fit for both of you guys. And I would go on focusing on my business, right? And just hope it was a good for you, a good fit. But I was very pleasantly surprised that Nick and Drew were both very eager to tell me what was going on with the meetings, how the clients seemed to be receiving the different ideas and proposals, what it seemed like they needed, how much you could help. Yeah, as I've evolved this business, I have become more aware that the value I bring isn't just in providing expert Google Ads services, but in really trying to fill any needs my clients have so that I can become more of a trusted advisor, not just a specific service provider. And so by having this referral network where I can call on someone for meta advertising or organic social media or content generation, I'm much more valuable to my client as well. They know they can ask me for help with a variety of things while we're also handling their Google Ads needs. Also, I had reached out to Nick and Drew to see if they had a resource for landing page development, because several times a year, one of my clients or a prospect really needs that sort of help. So I asked if SearchTides may have some resources there. And right away, Drew introduced me to 3 different folks who could provide landing page services, and I'm hooked up. So next time that need comes along, I know who to get in touch with. My original vision for all this, being an engineer and an introvert, and somebody just wanted to sit in my office and make all this work, was that I could do it all myself. And I'll just get the processes in place and everything will come in and it will run smashingly well. And to some degree that works, but there's always a human element. And no matter what, that's a huge advantage to leverage. Relationships are big. Even if you're not relying on referrals for your business, having some coming in can make a big difference. And having relationships where they can give you good reviews, or having relationships where they can provide a resource that you need to help thrill one of your existing clients even more. I mean, all that just builds on itself. And we are social creatures, no matter what. We need each other and we have to rely on each other. It makes us stronger. And I wish I would have started all that sooner.
Just some heartfelt testimony from one of our first agencies to really believe in us and doing this whole bidirectional referral thing. And we've got him here live with us. So thanks so much, Andrew, for, first of all, having faith in us, being willing to even take that first conversation, let alone move on to further introductions. And now we've done a number of bidirectional referrals. So thanks again, man, for believing in us, partnering with us, and for joining the call today.
Well, thank you, Nick. And let me just mention up front, I put in chat my pre-vetted complimentary agency list, which I've used for a couple of years now. But just to put it out there, SearchTides easily jumped to the top with the way you guys have been responsive and active and proactive, and it's just been fantastic.
Well, we wanted to ask our audience this question, Andrew, but I wondered if you could give a little bit of your own personal testimony from over the years. Like you say, we were not the first agency that you've ever teamed up with, but we've certainly been one of the more active and deeper partnerships that you've had from a referral standpoint recently. What does it take it? Like, what did you have to sort of overcome or just kind of vet and be sure to make you feel confident to start bringing in other agencies in on existing opportunities that you had?
Well, I think you just said it. I want confidence, right? Whether it's my clients or a prospect who I may or may not work with, I want to know that if I'm referring someone, they're going to be helpful and useful and professional, because all that reflects on me as well. So I want someone who's going to come in and know what to do right away and make the client feel like they've got this well in hand. I know how you guys get started. I can mention the way I do it when I'm brought in as a referral, or really for any new opportunity.
Yes, please.
I begin, of course, with asking about their business and their need, listening very carefully to it to make sure that I do think we can help them. And then the very next thing I want to do is give them an audit, do an audit of their existing account, see their history, and measure that against their objectives, and let them know if I really think we can get to their objectives or not, because sometimes we can't, right? And I want to work with clients who I can be successful with. So I always offer a complimentary deep dive manual audit upfront. I know some other agencies do it differently. I could talk about why I think it's important to be complimentary for my business. And I'll even add that over time, I discovered there are a few cases now and then where someone doesn't even feel like they're ready for a deep dive audit for different reasons. So I since added a separate option that has been getting some interest already, and I'm calling it the go, no go report, where it's very simple. You tell me what it is that you're trying to achieve, and we can give you a simple answer of whether that even looks feasible within Google Ads. Because a lot of times people come in and their goals, once I look at the account, maybe 10x, 40x away from where they are currently. And that can be a very difficult thing. So just to let them know, yes, you can do this, or no, you need a different channel besides Google Ads. That can be a very useful first step. And to tie all this back, I just want to be helpful, right? I want to make sure that I'm giving them some value, and that if we're going to move ahead, that it's a good fit for both of us.
And that's why we've been a good fit working together, your firm, Prometheus PPC, and us here at SearchTides, Andrew, because we both believe in the same thing. We want to have great communication, is what I heard, with clients, demonstrate that. Also with the partner you might be considering to do the referral, we feel the same way. Looking for making sure they've got some good case studies and results. I remember you asking us about that. Wanted to make sure you could understand the services, that we could drive the type of impact the client was looking for. That's not a must for everybody here on the line, but I appreciate that you wanted to kind of know that, and you challenged us to make sure we came correct on that front. And then also making sure there's some way we can add value for free up front to both prove our worth and our capability to you, but then certainly to any client you would refer. And that's what you just said you're already wired to do yourself, Andrew, whether it's really lightweight or even a little bit of a deeper dive assessment, being able to provide some complimentary value up front. We certainly believe in that, because otherwise the client and at first the agency doesn't quite know you yet. And offering something, being willing to go first, add some value up front, goes a long way, doesn't it?
Well, I think that's what Max was saying in his interview, that it's about trust. And the way to get them to trust you is to prove you know what you're talking about and that you can do it for them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again for joining us, Andrew. Look for his case study video on a new referral partner resource center that's launching after this webinar, so you can just relive the magic of Andrew's story and his testimony again and again. I know I do. I enjoy one.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Be well. All right, folks. Now, without further ado, let's bring on the man himself, someone who believes very much in everything we've been talking about, that you heard Max talk about, you heard Andrew testify about, and a big reason why I was brought on board to assist with SearchTides is because SearchTides believes very much in this approach. So Drew Schweppe, who's here with me now, just going to talk a little bit more about who we are, answer your questions as well. I'll kind of run the chat on that regard. But Drew, are you ready to go, sir? Just to walk through a little bit more of who SearchTides works with, why folks might want to consider teaming up with us. And folks, remember, it's completely bidirectional. Everything that Andrew talked about, we've sent him multiple leads, multiple introductions, just as he's introduced to us. So it's a two-way street, everything we're about to talk about. But with that being said, Drew, you ready to discuss a little bit about who we are and how we might be useful to fill some gaps for some of the folks on the line?
Absolutely. Thanks, Nick. And also really big thanks to Andrew and to Max. It's wild to me that like a year ago, I didn't know either Andrew or Max, and now we're in each other's inboxes, weekly, if not daily sometimes. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about, just getting to meet new people that are great at their craft. So yeah, let's talk a little bit more about SearchTides. We've seen this slide before, but as I mentioned earlier in the discussion, we're really all about making it easy for our clients and making sure that they are hitting their KPIs, which for us is usually revenue. We've been doing this for over 13 years, and what I want to draw your attention to is the neon box outlines over here on the right side of the screen. And one of the things that I'm most proud of at SearchTides, in addition to the referral program we're building, is that the clients we work directly with at our clients' companies, they actually get promoted through working with us. And we can't take all the credit for that, of course, but we like to think that we play a part in making their job easier, making their company more successful, and also introducing them to the solutions that we ourselves are not able to offer. A statistic that's not on here, we have like a 90+% retention rate with our clients, and some of our clients start out with a 6-month contract with us and they turn into multi-year with us, and budget increases. And part of the way that we do that is through these partnership referrals. We're very proud and revenue minded of what we're able to achieve for our clients, both in the short term. You can see, that we have real metrics behind what we're able to do as a growth partner at SearchTides for our clients. And we're also in 30 countries. There's 50, 60, 70 of us currently, depending on the seasonality of what we do. And we're very lucky to have built a culture here where only a handful of people have pursued careers elsewhere. And part of this is just because we bring our ethos from what we believe in serving our clients to serving our team to serving our partners. So yeah, we are very excited to expand this partnership ecosystem that we are building. And by the way, it's not just us that we want to, hear from and get referred either. We want you to be able to come into our ecosystem and find the person that does that PPC. We want to be able to find the person that does the landing pages, that does the design, that does the drip campaigns. We are building this ecosystem out so that you have the resources that you need. So Nick, let's talk about some of the success stories we've had from referrals. So this client is someone that we've started working with at the beginning of this year, 2025. And this was a referral. This was a marketer that had worked with us in the past, and they saw that their client was not performing to the level that they wanted to, especially in terms of revenue. We met the CEO. He told us the only thing he cares about is revenue. And within 60 days of working together, thanks to this referral partnership, we were able to increase their revenue almost 8% year over year. We, exploded their traffic, clicks went up, and this is because we had a great relationship. We got the foundation of all the information that we needed about this client to be successful, and they trusted us with their SEO, with their traffic, with their revenue, and we're very grateful for that referral. Another study here is we've been working with a sports betting client for many years now, and if you look here, we've been very successful with them. We've helped make them a lot of money. We've gotten them a lot of new first-time customers. First-time depositors is one of their main KPIs. But this looks like, as an agency owner, CEO, marketer, you might think, well, yeah, it's easy to have this kind of relationship when you've been working with them forever. You have to remember that it didn't start this way. We were actually referred this client through one of our points of contact at this company because we worked with them previously on a different campaign. So it's all about building the rapport, the trust, the culture, and the relationships to really be successful, both for the company and for the agency, for the partner, for the client. And yeah, we just are very excited to explode this program and to be able to do this for everybody listening as well. Last thing I want to touch on here is that we are in it for our clients. Some of our longest serving clients, you can see the testimonials here, but what I want to really focus in on here is the underlined area at the bottom, where these people are able to advance in their career and their lives in some part because of the relationships that we have with them and our ability to provide them with the best solution for their business, whether it's us or our partners. So I'll pass it back over to you, Nick, and I look forward to, continuing this conversation with those interested in becoming part of our ecosystem.
I love that you opted to share this slide in particular, Drew. You thought it was important that everybody here on the line see this because it shows really this is where our focus is. This is not a slide we made just for this webinar. This is a slide that we bring into new accounts and show that this is really what we're about. And I think for those of us who've been marketers, sometimes some of us have been client side, not always agency side. It's tough when you don't feel like the world has your back as a marketer. And it's great to have an agency that really thinks about that. Drew thinks a lot about people, both the people we partner with and the clients on the tail end. So I'm just glad to hear you tell this story, Drew. He's the real deal. So folks, if you're not excited yet, let's just talk you through how this can work. And again, I'm describing this about how this might work to bring us in, because we are looking for your help to meet new accounts and your trust, but everything here is bidirectional. We would seek to do a similar process for you if we wanted to bring you folks in. Okay, so let's just go through this. Step one is, and Drew and I have done this multiple times, both with Andrew here on the line who's talked about it. Max Traylor has worked with us on different agencies that he knows, and we've done this with them. So number one is quick alignment call. You've heard about this in various flavors across the webinar here today. This is where we're going to just make sure we come together. What do you want to do? How deep do you want to be involved? Is it like Andrew talked about in some of his videos with one of the first referrals he made to us was, hey, yeah, I'm just going to send an email over. Whatever you want to do is fine from there. What you're doing is not going to impact what I'm doing in that particular context. Or if you want us to co-create a game plan together, Drew and I and the team, we are totally open to whatever your comfort level, whatever the need is, but we feel like it's only appropriate as budding partners that we meet and we talk about it. That's what step one is. Let's have a meeting. We always pledge to do that. We're not going to just take off and start contacting somebody unless that's what you desire. So we'll always make sure there's a sync. We've got a joint sort of plan. Is there really a good fit here before we set any expectations to any communications externally? And even after that, we would keep you 100% in the loop. Number two is let's meet the client or the prospect together. Again, in the case of some of Andrew's examples, Andrew didn't even need to be on those calls, but we would certainly welcome and we're used to co-presenting alongside with you. Non-disclosure agreements, absolutely comfortable with that. We would pledge to show our worth and give some insights and some suggestions. I've seen Drew and his team of specialists that he's helped assemble at SearchTides do just that and win these referral clients' trust, and then have them want to just keep going with that. So the client gets immediate value. You look like a hero because you brought in somebody who's already feeding them good ideas from the get-go. And then third is we like to start with some sort of initial engagement. Usually it's a sort of a paid deeper dive strategy because again, we don't try to feed people a cookie cutter strategy. So much of search, as you know, is evolving. It's unique to, you see what would happen for a manufacturer might be different for a sports betting client. So we would usually offer something that's paid, that is a deeper dive, that they see proof in the pudding before they engage in a longer term engagement. That also just shows if they've got some real skin in the game, because there's many people who are, like you folks have seen for your own services, who talk about wanting to make changes or talking about wanting to seek a specialist and go deeper there. But it's another thing if they actually are able and willing to put some budget against it. So we'll try to meet them where they're at with free advice and insights to prove the worth, but then also offer something humble but still meaningful for an engagement to give them a custom strategy, because we never just assume what the strategy should be or give a cookie cutter strategy to anybody, especially someone you have your reputation resting with. So from there, if everything works well, we've kept you in the loop through all that. You get our support on all the execution with that client. You get the credit as the person who brought us in, who sought out a great provider. So a lot of that accrues to you. And imagine the alternative, which is we've all experienced, where some agency comes in you didn't introduce and now they're crushing it with numbers and it has nothing to do with you. So we'd much rather have you folks get the credit for bringing us in to drive some of that type of impact you just heard Drew talk about, and you'll get our reciprocity. Most of the time it shows up in joint introductions back into our accounts. If there's some sort of a finder's fee or something we want to discuss, Drew's been open to discussing whatever we all feel is fair. That's all part of what we can discuss at step one to make sure that we're completely aligned before anybody begins anything. All right, so that's usually just the process. Any questions about this, folks? Hopefully this seems a little bit familiar, something that you would have done or would do yourself anyways in your own self-driven, referral partnerships. But if there's any questions or just feedback on this process, if you do something a little bit different, please let us know. But this is what we just seen work and what we see other agencies, like you just heard from Andrew and Prometheus PPC, they like to do something similar here as well. All right, so that's how you can take action with us, folks. And we wanted to make it super easy for you. Bookmark this URL, info.searchtides.com/referral. It'll be in your follow-up email. So if you ever have anyone And again, we just want to make it super easy. It doesn't even take a phone conversation. You can submit this form. We will then reach out to you to confirm the submission to see if we want to talk about it, or we go ahead and ready to reach out. You tell us your email address, where you'd like to be reached. We have an on-demand method for you here. So if you can bookmark info.searchtides.com/referral, that's your on-demand way to call in the SEO, CRO, paid and organic social specialists here at SearchTides. And also, it's just as easy, if you don't like doing forms, you can just do Drew at SearchTides. That will also be the response email and the follow-up email you get from Drew, the CEO here. You can just email the CEO. That's how important we treat any opportunity from a referral partner like you. We'll make sure that we treat it like gold, as we said. All right, so any other questions here? We've actually nailed the timeline, Drew. How about that? We talked about this, we rehearsed it, we said we want to give folks 15 minutes back, try to end it at 45 minutes. So we do have a moment here. Again, we've got some buffer. If there's any other questions, please let us know. But in lieu of that, once again, you can email any questions to hello@searchtides.com. That's our general catch-all, or drew@searchtides.com. Drew, and then we have a question here. How do we approach our clients looking to show up in LLMs? So Drew, I know that's something that a lot of companies are asking now. And for many of us, because it's brand new territory, it's sort of like, huh? What do we do? So what if an agency here is getting asked by a client, hey, how are we tracking and getting found and impacting our ability to get found in LLMs more often?
Yep, great question. It's what everybody wants to know. So a few things come to mind that are just imperative. Number one, we're able at SearchTides to pull a custom report to see how you're already ranking in common LLMs. So that's a kind of a starting data point that we have available to us. So if people are interested, reach out. We can chat about that. And then the answer is maybe two or threefold. One is just, for LLMs, they have to get information from somewhere. So you have to have a really solid foundation of your brand, as well as the content on your website, and everywhere on the internet. So, the first part is just having the fundamentals. Do the places that you exist on the internet talk about you consistently, properly? Is your website optimized so that it's easy for LLMs to get that information into their library of knowledge that then they pull from and generate? The next step here is, are you having engagement with your customers? Speaking of referral partners and things like that, you're going to want SEO, you're going to want Reddit specialists, you're going to want Shopify specialists, you're going to want YouTube specialists within your network, because all of these things play a giant role in getting you featured in the ChatGPTs, the Claudes, the Perplexities, the Google AI overviews. So you need to have the right group of people that you can rely on for a Reddit playbook, so that you are engaging, or your client is engaging with their potential customers, so that you are being consistent in your messaging across the internet. Because what's happening right now is commerce is changing again and again based on the technology that we have. And you should, if you're not already, be getting new clients and new prospects as a business from areas of the internet that you didn't even know existed. And this isn't saying that you need to be everywhere on the internet at all times, but you do need to be consistent and be in the areas of the internet that your clients or your clients' customers do hang out in. So you can't do it all yourself, but you got to get the right people in here to make that happen, bringing it back to partnerships, to referrals. But there are a few things, and it all starts with the foundations.
These are some great questions here, folks, and I have seen SearchTides bring some of those insights. Go ahead.
I just got excited because Andrew also mentioned that there will be ads coming into LLMs. They're figuring out how to monetize that now. So the advice that we at SearchTides have for everybody is get in there before that starts happening, to explore what's, best practices and experiment before you have to start paying to figure that out as well. I think that's something Andrew would probably agree with. So we are in the early to mid stages of this, and it's only going to, increase rapidly from here. So definitely make sure it's top of mind for your clients.
I just want to echo what you said, Drew. We are at the early stages of how we can actually systematically, through a framework, help clients get ranked higher in the suggestions that come from LLMs or generative AI platforms. SearchTides, I have seen the in-depth type of analysis, the custom analysis that SearchTides does. It's proprietary. It's through solutions and frameworks they've been able to set up using their years of trying to keep track of the get found everywhere phenomenon as it's evolved. So if you're interested in talking to Drew and the team about what does this look like? How do you guys do it? What would you actually show our client? How could we act on it if they want to act on some of your playbook suggestions? All of that Drew has walked potential partners and their referrals through and can do again for you and your organization. So Bob and Jay and Andrew, if you have other opportunities like that, please don't hesitate to either fill out the form, contact Drew at the email here below, and we'd love to show you the future of how getting found is evolving and how we can help your clients do the same. That's what the ecosystem's all about. All right, so thanks again to Drew, to Max, to Andrew Percy coming off the mic, in ad-libbing there a little bit, sharing the story from the trenches. I'm Nick Sal, your MC, partnership maestro extraordinaire, saying it was a pleasure to work with all of you. Thank you to Bob Hansen of Quantum Leap Marketing and the must-see webinar framework that we used to prepare for this webinar here for you today. So we knew we could do it right. We could do it polished and professional. Hopefully you folks found it valuable, and be on the lookout for our follow-up email, which will include a link to this recording, all the resources, URLs that we talked about today, and you can reply right back to start a conversation about our accounts or yours, hopefully both, and we'd love to hear from you. All right, thank you all very, very much. We wish you a great rest of your week. Stay searching.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Drew. Thanks, everyone.